You know those nights, right? When the world just kind of quiets down, the roads are empty, and you're just, well, driving, maybe heading home, maybe just killing time. You'd think those late night drives are the safest, maybe the most uneventful, but sometimes, yeah, just sometimes, they can take a really unsettling turn. Okay, let's unpack this. Tonight we're going to share some truly chilling accounts of night drives that definitely veered into the dark. We've gathered a collection of real-life stories, the terrifying kind shared online, the ones that make your skin crawl and make you check your rearview mirror maybe a bit too often. Our goal isn't just to, tell scary stories. We want to really dig into the details, see if there are common threads of fear, and look at those primal instincts that kick in.
And what's fascinating here is how quickly the ordinary can become the extraordinary, almost in a blink. And how our minds try to process the unknown when we're alone on the road, isolated. These aren't just, spooky tales. They really give us glimpses into human psychology under serious stress and some of the strange phenomena that can happen when we step outside the familiar.
Absolutely. So let's dive into the first one. It perfectly shows that sudden shift from, peace to sheer panic. This story comes from someone driving their usual route home. It's around midnight. Picture this. Quiet, rural town, woods, cornfields all around, not many other cars or houses. It's midsummer, nice evening, convertible, top down, just a peaceful drive, maybe 50 miles an hour, when suddenly this loud, just blood-curdling woman's scream tears through the air, seemed to come from deep in the woods nearby. The driver reacts instantly, slams on the brakes, and in that quiet, they hear it again, a woman crying, "Help!" from the left side. Now, most people, I think, would probably just floor it, right? Get out of there. But this driver, incredibly brave maybe, grabs a baton from the back seat, gets out, walks towards the woods, and actually calls out, "Who's out there?" And the woman immediately screams back, "Please help me."
That decision to actually approach the sound, to engage with that scream, it's really something. It shows that powerful drive we have to help, even when everything inside might be yelling, "Danger!" Right? The deep social instinct battling pure fear.
It really is. So the driver starts running into the woods, yelling for her to keep screaming so they can find her. She screams, "Help!" maybe every 10 seconds, and the driver's running straight towards the sound. But very quickly, this really deep sense of unease starts creeping in. Because no matter how deep they run into the woods, the yells don't seem to get any closer or louder. They just stay at the exact same distance. Even though the driver is moving fast directly towards the sound, that's when it hits them. This feels like a trap. The driver yells out, "Tell me where you are!" And about 5 seconds later, "Help!" again. Still at that same unchanging distance.
That specific detail, something being always the same distance, it's incredibly disorienting, isn't it? It messes with our basic understanding of sound and space. It's terrifying not just because you feel hunted, but because it suggests something is operating outside, normal physical laws. It creates this profound sense of the uncanny. This raises an important question. What kind of threat presents itself without changing its proximity? And what does it mean when the physical evidence doesn't match the terrifying experience?
Exactly. The driver just stopped dead, totally unnerved, and knew they had to get out right now. They turned and just ran, full sprint, back towards the flashing headlights of their car. And the whole way back, the screams were still there. Still the same impossible distance, like she was moving with them. Driver gets in the car, completely freaked out, obviously, and just drives. Called 911 to report it, but didn't stick around. And here's the part that really gets you. About a week later, the driver sees on the news. It makes him sick. A hiker found the dead body of a woman, maybe 30-something, in that exact general area of the woods. But the really bizarre thing, the report said no signs of foul play. Now, okay, those woods are huge, but the driver just couldn't shake that feeling, that horrible, inexplicable coincidence. The scream, the weird distance, the body, it just leaves you with so many unanswered questions, a real mystery. So, moving from that kind of spectral enigma in the woods, let's shift gears to a different kind of terror. This one feels much more calculated, definitely human. Our next story is from someone driving solo Brooklyn up to Vermont for a snowboarding trip. Late, 1 a.m. Roads are pitch black, snowy, super isolated. And adding to the fun, they're driving a 2006 Ford F-150, a truck apparently known for having problems. And wouldn't you know it, probably the worst possible time, quietest, darkest stretch of road. The engine starts to completely overheat, needle deep in the red, had to pull over. Tried letting it cool. The second they tried driving again, same thing, overheated. Had to pull over for good, turn the truck off. Under the hood, in the dark, in the snow, no way to figure out what's wrong. And the kicker. No cell reception. T-Mobile, out in this really remote spot, just completely stranded. So they get back in the truck, leave it idling for warmth, just waiting. About 10 minutes later, finally a car passes. Driver puts the hazards on, opens the door, waves like crazy. It's a small Toyota. Guy inside rolls down his window. Driver thanks him for stopping, explains the truck situation, asks if he can use his phone, and the helper's first question is, chilling. He asks, are you all alone? Driver pauses, kind of taken aback, and says, yeah. The helper hands over his phone. He's got bars, obviously local.
Yeah, that question, are you all alone? That's not just small talk, is it? It's often a deliberate probe, a way to gauge vulnerability. This story is a stark reminder of how someone can seem helpful, but it's actually a carefully constructed trap. It plays directly on our instinct to trust and help others in need. Pretty calculated.
It really is. So the driver calls his friend John. John tells him which towing company to call and says he'll come pick him up eventually. And during both calls to John, then to the towing company, the guy in the Toyota just watches the driver the entire time, just staring. Call's done. Driver hands the phone back, thanks him again. The guy, without another word, rolls up his window and just drives off down the snowy road, over a hill, gone. Driver's alone again, sitting in the idling truck, which thankfully wasn't overheating while just sitting there. And just to give you a sense of how dark it was, the driver flicked the headlights off for a second. Pure blackness. Couldn't see a thing outside. So after about 20 minutes of just sitting there, waiting, bam! A sudden, really aggressive bang on the passenger window. Driver jumps, heart pounding. It's too dark to see clearly, but a man's voice starts immediately, begging for help. Yelling to open the door, says he's lost, freezing. He's frantically trying the locked door handle himself, pounding hard on the glass. Really aggressive. The driver's gut just screams, danger. Tries to shine a flashlight, but it barely cuts through the dark. Just shows someone in a big black coat, hood up. The man keeps yelling for help. In that moment, the driver decides, listen to your gut. Slams the truck into drive. The man outside seems to realize what's happening, pounds even harder, like he's trying to break the window now. Driver floors it, knowing full well this is probably destroying the engine, but just doesn't care. Get away. And then, just over the next hill, he sees it. The exact same Toyota from earlier, parked on the side of the road, empty. The driver slows down a bit, looks out, and his taillights catch fresh footprints in the snow, leading away from the car. It was him! The guy trying to force his way in was the same helpful guy from before. He'd clearly set this whole thing up, waiting to ambush whoever stopped.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this story is a chilling reminder of how quickly a seemingly helpful act can turn into a carefully constructed trap, playing on our most basic instincts to help others in distress. It's predatory behavior, plain and simple.
Absolutely terrifying. The driver keeps going, engine probably screaming, until headlights appear from the other direction, the tow truck. Flags him down, pulls over, quickly explains what just happened. The tow truck driver kind of jokes. Got here just in time, huh? Did the guy have a gun? Driver says, couldn't see. Tow truck driver says, well, then we better do this quick. They get the truck hooked up fast, like 15 minutes, and that Toyota never passed them again. Driver later found out it was a broken water pump, got the engine replaced, sold the truck a few weeks later. But the thing that stuck with him, just immense relief, he never opened that door. He knew, absolutely knew, he could have been murdered and nobody would have ever found him out there. Okay, our third story takes us into, well, the truly inexplicable again. This one mixes strange smells, unsettling sounds, and one really chilling image that just sticks with you. This happened to a young couple, 17 and 16. Just a casual night drive after a simple date. Driving empty roads through the woods, they turn onto a dirt road. And right away, something's weird. They get out of the car to relieve themselves in this flat, kind of secluded spot. And this awful smell hits them. Indescribable. The girlfriend actually gagged. The driver tries to play it cool, like, oh, maybe it's just someone else's, business. Tells her they'll be quick. But as they're walking back to the car, they hear a twig snap to their left. Thinking it might be an animal, they hurry back towards the car. But before the driver can even open his door, they hear a scream. Definitely a scream of fear, maybe pain. Coming from the direction they'd just been, his girlfriend is pleading, don't go, but he tells her to get in the car, locks her inside safely, and against his better judgment, decides he has to check it out. He starts walking cautiously back towards where they were, then he hears a second scream, closer this time. And that's it, his courage just vanishes. But then quick thinking kicks in, pulls out his phone, turns on the flash, and just takes a picture into the darkness ahead.
Here's where it gets really interesting. The confluence of these sensory details, the smell, the sound, and then that chilling visual creates a profound sense of dread, leaving us to wonder about the context of that man on the tarp. It's the not knowing that's terrifying. That sequence, smell, sound, scream, then the visual confirmation of something being there. It's like a perfect recipe for building terror. And the blue tarp. It's just loaded with sinister implication without showing anything explicit.
And the flash reveals something horrifying. A man standing there, white shirt with black stripes, motionless, right in front of a blue tarp on the ground, just standing there. The driver didn't wait, didn't think, just dashed back to the car, unlocked it, jumped in, slammed it in drive, and floored it out of there. His girlfriend, seeing how scared he is, keeps asking, what happened? What did you see? He tells her he'll explain later. They drive straight back to town, then to her house. Once they're safely inside her room, he finally tells her what he saw. The man, the blue tarp, just standing there. He shows her the picture on his phone. She was just as creeped out, naturally. That image just burned into their minds. They were so shaken, she insisted he stay the night, for safety. He calls it by far the scariest moment of my life. They're not together anymore, but apparently they're still best friends, and that night still affects them. All right, for our last account tonight, we're going back to late summer 2011. Two teenage best friends just cruising those rural backcountry roads in southwestern Virginia. You know how it is in some small towns, everything closes super early, like 10 p.m. So if you're a teenager, you gotta find ways to pass the time. Late night drives were their thing. So this particular night, they'd done the usual stuff mall, cruising for girls, bowling, which didn't work out, walked some alleys, got food at Waffle House. Finally, decided, okay, let's drive some backcountry roads. They end up on a road they didn't know too well. It turns from paved to dirt, not really maintained, very few houses, driving slow, cautious. And as they pass one house, they notice a man, just standing motionless under his porch light, watching them. His head actually follows the car as they drive past. Didn't do anything but just Bermuda. The way he watched was incredibly unnerving, creepy. They speed up a bit, feeling a little weirded out by that. Soon they hit a paved road they knew well. Feeling better, they turn right, enjoying the mountain views. After a couple of miles, they turn right again onto another road they knew even better, heavily wooded, and that's when they see something way up ahead in their headlights. Something white. At first, they actually thought, maybe it's an albino deer, because it was white. But as they got closer, they realized it was a person, hunched over, walking in the left lane facing them against traffic. So they get maybe 50 feet away, and she turns. They get their first proper look at her face. It's an older woman. Long, scraggly gray hair, really deep-set eyes, heavy dark bags underneath, greasy hair, aged skin. And suddenly she throws her hands up in the air, starts waving frantically, and then starts running towards their car. And here are the details that just lock in the terror. There's dried blood all over the front of her white clothes, shirt, and pants. And in one hand, she's holding what looks like a big knife.
So what does this all mean when we look at the combined unsettling encounters from these stories? It forces us to consider the hidden layers of reality, and how sometimes the most disturbing events are those that defy any rational explanation, leaving us with lingering questions about what truly lies out there. You see the difference here, right? The watching man is one kind of creepy, passive, unsettling. But the bloody woman, that's an overt threat. It's visceral, immediate, and completely defies explanation in that context. It bypasses rational thought. Your instinct just screams, danger, wrong, get away. The later drug bust near the first man's location adds a possible context for him, maybe, but it does absolutely nothing to explain the woman. She remains this horrifying anomaly.
Oh yeah, instinct absolutely took over. Any teenage desire to be like edgy badasses just evaporated instantly. They floored it, didn't let up until they hit the main highway. What should have been maybe a 5-minute drive home turned into this 35-minute detour just out of sheer terror, this irrational fear she could somehow follow them. And in their small community where you pretty much know everyone, neither of them had ever seen this woman before. And they never saw her again. They kept checking local news, expecting to hear about a bloody woman being found or picked up. Nothing, ever. The narrator still, to this day, has zero explanation for why she was out there like that. Blood, knife, almost 4 a.m. And here's a little present-day footnote. The narrator now actually lives on a peaceful road up on that mountain ridge, sort of between where those two incidents happened. Never seen the woman again, thankfully, but just earlier this year there was a huge bust, nearby drugs, cockfighting ring, right down the road from where that watching man was. So he wonders, was that the same house? Was that guy a lookout? Plausible, maybe, but the bloody woman, still a complete mystery. Just out there. Wow. These stories, they really do change how you think about night drives, don't they? That feeling of isolation, the power of the unknown. You see these common threads, vulnerability, the sudden shift from normal to nightmare, how quickly things can go wrong when you're alone out there.
It really highlights that fine line between, say, rational fear based on circumstance and just pure inexplicable terror, and the absolute importance of trusting your gut. We saw that so clearly in the truck story, didn't we? Sometimes that primal alarm bell is ringing loud and clear for a very good reason, even if you can't logically explain why at that moment. Ignoring it, well, the potential consequences are chilling. These events leave an enduring mystery.
So true. These real-life encounters are just so captivating, I think, because they remind us that the world can be a really strange, unpredictable place, especially after dark when you're out on the road.
Yeah, the road can definitely be a pathway to discovery. But sometimes, maybe what you discover is something you'd rather have left unexplored. It makes you ask, what are you willing to risk for that next unexpected journey into the unknown?
That's a really powerful thought to end on. Thank you so much for joining us as we explored the unsettling side of late night driving. If you found these stories as chilling and compelling as we did, please do hit that like button, maybe share it with a friend who enjoys this stuff, and definitely subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs, for more deep dives into curious topics. We'll see you next time.